Hey there, this is Taylor Elwood, your mad scientist and magical experimenter, and at magicalexperiments.com. And today I want to talk about something which I was asked the other day, and it was this person who asked the question, why are there rules in magic? Why are there so many rules in magic? And really comes right down to the question is, are there really any rules in magic? And so I want to tell you that in fact, the rules of magic are in some ways a very arbitrary thing that's been developed by people who are developing their magical practices and systems. Ultimately, in my opinion, a lot of magic is very much something that is very optional in a lot of ways. There are certain fundamental principles that govern how magic works. In fact, I have a guide that I'm going to share with you today that talks about how magic works. But the thing that's really important to understand is that magic isn't something that automatically has rules. Hey Brandy, how you doing? Thanks for watching. Magic isn't something that automatically has rules to it. We impose the rules on magic. And why do we do that? Because let's be honest here, there are a couple different reasons. There are social reasons, right? I'm putting together this magical ritual. I want people to act or behave a certain way, so I'm going to tell them these are the rules they need to follow. Or the rules are put into place as a way to govern how magic is practiced. I mean, how many times have you had someone tell you that the way you practice magic isn't real magic? I've had that happen a few times, and inevitably the reason why it's happened is usually the person who's saying it is trying to control how magic is practiced and why magic is practiced. Okay? But here's the beautiful thing about all of that. The rules are arbitrary, folks. That's right. The rules are arbitrary. There's something that people are putting together as a way to control how magic is practiced. But at the end of the day, if you understand what the fundamental principles of magic are, then you can develop your own personalized approach to magic. And that's what interests me as a mad scientist and magical experimenter. I want to know how magic works. I want to explore the principles of magic, and what I want to show people more than anything else is why the rules of magic are ultimately very arbitrary. There are certain principles that are at place that govern what happens with magical work, but those principles aren't made up rules by somebody. They're not social constraints being put into place. They're not people saying you have to do magic this way. In fact, when you look at the principles of magic, what you find is that the principles of magic apply across the board to various magical traditions and systems. They might be called different things, but they work across the board. And they are the things that magic has in common. But a lot of the rules of magic, the rules that people put together and say this is how magic works, are not something that you find across the board through various magical systems or practices. They're things that are unique to those magical systems, traditions, and practices, and they're usually put in place by somebody who wants to control the narrative. Our challenge as magicians is to not allow that narrative to be controlled. It's to question it. If we want to learn how magic works, we need to be willing to experiment with magic. We need to be willing to try things a little bit differently. We need to test what we're told and discover it for ourselves. That's the key to true magical work and success. Now, I have a guide that I'm going to point you to, and you just click below or click above depending on where you're seeing this, and you can get this guide. It's How Magic Works, and it explores some of the different ways that magic can be worked with. But one of the most fundamental tenets that I include there is this: ultimately, the way you discover how magic works is through your own experiences. You have to be willing to discover it for yourself and see what happens when you experiment. Okay? So hey, thanks for watching, and In case you're curious, I'm simultaneously doing this video on YouTube and Facebook. So how cool was that? Anyway, talk to you guys later and take care.